Michigan plays Michigan State. Michigan's coming off a bye. It's the 5:30 Mountain Time game on ABC. It is a blue out at Michigan Stadium. Michigan, before I started recording this, looked like they were 22-point favorites. And this is a game that I don't like playing Michigan State because this is going to be Michigan State's Super Bowl. Their season is not going well. Similar to what they did with Iowa, is they can't let Michigan State hang around, because if they do, they're going to start to believe, and weird things happen in this game. Just give them the charity of not letting Michigan State think they belong on the same field. Get up on them, jump on them early, and bury them and all their hopes and dreams, and make Dan Gilbert cry that he is paying just Mel Tucker $95 million to suck.
Yeah.
Well, talk about an erroneous contract extension. Guy has a horrible first year, but remember, it was the COVID year, so according to Dylan, that doesn't matter. Or
True.
does it matter?
No, I said it doesn't count for Nebraska and Scott Frost. So across the board, 2020 does not count.
Okay.
Ohio State that year, they played for the national championship. But even if they would have won, their season wouldn't have been a success because they didn't beat Michigan. And that's all we need to discuss about that one, because I don't make the rules on that. But exactly, though, it was the 1 year where they had a Heisman, a guy who probably should have been a Heisman candidate in New York, in Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker ain't walking through that door anytime soon. And the Michigan State defense, they are banged up. They have a bad secondary, and then they rank like 125th against the run. So this is a bad matchup for Michigan State, but Michigan State, I expect them to come out early. They're going to be throwing every single type of trick play, the whole kitchen sink at Michigan to try to make this a game.
Because also, did Michigan State also have a bye last week, just like Michigan?
No, they beat Wisconsin in double overtime.
I thought that was 2 weeks ago.
No, it was this week, I'm pretty sure.
It was 2 weeks ago because last weekend Wisconsin beat Purdue.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So is this a rare occasion where both teams have a bye coming into this game?
Yeah.
I think it is.
It is. Yep.
So that adds a little more intrigue to this, because to your point, Dylan, Michigan State, they know their season has gone pear-shaped. It's not good. I mean, they were a preseason top 10 team. Again, like we said before, that shit doesn't matter. But they had a lot coming into this year. Head coach, new extension. He's the guy. He's allegedly recruiting well, bringing in good talent to East Lansing, and it just they're falling flat on their face. So now, like you said, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Michigan. This is their Super Bowl, but now they've had 2 weeks to try to get ready for this. I think if you're Michigan early, you got to be ready for a weird onside kick, a fake punt, Michigan State going for it on fourth down. Uncharacteristic things that they do on their offense. Maybe Michigan State tries to play with a little more speed, so Michigan can't substitute. Different things like that. Add a characteristic things Michigan State hasn't done this year to try to slow Michigan down. Maybe they change their defensive front up. I think they play a lot of even front. Maybe this week they switch it up and they have an odd front. So then Michigan has to change the way they communicate and their different play calling with that. And then with that, they're thinking Michigan can't get in a groove. They don't have that play action game going. And maybe McCarthy will throw us a ball here and there. So it's going to be interesting, to your point, because they've had 2 weeks to try to get ready for this. And, they're also thinking, shit, why can't we win this game 3 years in a row? Because, Michigan had a lot of success last year, but, people are going to say, in East Lansing, they're only going to say this, well, they didn't beat us. We walk around for 364 days and we can say, yeah, Michigan State beat Michigan last year. So there's some layers to this game that are interesting. But to your point, Michigan could just put all those layers to bed early if they come out and they do what they're supposed to do. They dominate, they get the running game going. They get after Michigan State's quarterback If they jump on them, they should be able to jump on them early, and this really shouldn't be much of a game going into the third or fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the way this team has played, where outside of the Maryland game, they have come out guns blazing. They haven't let teams really stick around. You can make the argument with Penn State, but it was one play and then a fluky pick six that bounced around twice. And other than that, Michigan took care. That game wasn't remotely close, and I hope this game goes the way the Michigan Penn State game should have went, where they don't give up that big chunk play. They don't have a fluky turnover, because Michigan State always seems to get one or two of those in this game.
Yeah.
And I think Michigan with the bye week to prepare, I think they do that. I think they go put Michigan State to bed early, and we celebrate. Paul Bunyan, J.J. McCarthy leads the rest of the Wolverines over to the Michigan State sideline and grabs Paul Bunyan and goes and runs around the Michigan Stadium with it. So I like Michigan. And the biggest thing, Michigan State doesn't have Kenneth Walker this year.
Well, that also, how I said Mel Tucker's thinking, ooh, let's beat Michigan 3 years in a row. Jim Harbaugh's thinking, I can't let this team beat me 3 years in a row. Because if there's one thing in the recruiting aspect and getting talent in the state of Michigan that Michigan State has over Michigan is this. Well, we beat these guys. If Harbaugh and Michigan win this game, they dominate, they kick ass. There's nowhere in that state where there's no room for Michigan State to say, hey, we're better than them. It's all Michigan. And I think that's going to be something for for Jim and his coaching staff, that they're going to really hone in on these last 2 weeks, getting ready for this game.
Yeah. And with that, we'll go to the first game of the day of our three teams. Rutgers travels to Minnesota. Minnesota is looking for their first win in 3 games. They're 14.5-point favorites. That game kicks off at 12:30 Mountain Time on the Big Ten Network. Ethan, how are we feeling? Does Minnesota find a way to get back into the win column?
If we lose this game,